Hello dear students of SYBS. I am Dr. Santosh Upnekar and I am going to teach you comparative embryology. This is the title of our paper, Comparative Embryology. This comparative embryology, having the first unit itself, is known as the comparative embryology, and it is divided into 6 subunits. First, it is dedicated to the types of eggs, the structure and type of sperms, type of cleavages, type of gastrulation, and the coelom. When we just going through the unit first, before that, I just want to give you the brief introduction of this paper, of this unit, and of course the paper. In this unit first, we are going to learn the embryology. Okay, we are very well known about the embryology. Embryology is nothing but the development of the embryo within the fertilized egg. But why we are going to study the comparative embryology? When you just see in our planet Earth, several types of the animals are present. Okay, we divided them on the basis of their characteristics, on the basis of where they are actually located. Okay. And we just put them into a phylum, several phylums, and each and every phylum having its own characteristics, and each and every phylum again subdivided into classes. When we just see any single organism, means any single species is belong to a specific type of the class. So every animal have its own peculiar identifying characteristics. Okay, so embryo which is developed inside of the eggs, it is also different. So before that, we just see that first our subunit, it is based on the type of the eggs. Why we are going to study the type of eggs? When you just see in this animal world, when the species change, then the type of the eggs is also changed. Just as compare that, just give me your example. I just give you the example. The frog eggs and our hen egg. Uh, are they both similar in size? Are they both similar in a size or diameter or length? Where actually these both animals are living? Okay. When you just see comparatively, the frog, it is belonging to the amphibians and the birds avians. Okay. So they both are belonging to the different class, and that's why their habit are also different. When they are belonging to different class, they have their own identity. So of course their eggs are also different. So when we just say the eggs are different, then the embryonic development is also different. Before that, embryonic development is going on, the fertilization is also different. When you just see the fertilization process of these two organisms, it is also different. We just consider our the first subunit type of eggs. When you just see the egg of the amphibians, means just to take an example of the frog. When female frog lay its eggs at the bank of the any water bodies, it is in the form of the clusters. So many number of the eggs, they are present inside of the cluster. But in a hen eggs, she lay the eggs. Okay, they are not in a cluster. When you just see the shape and the diameter of the eggs, uh, then the diameter of the frog egg, it is 1 mm to the 2 mm, and when you just see the diameter of the hen egg, it is around the 4 to 5 centimeter. This is the main difference. So every organism is different. So the embryonic conditions is also different. That's why we are compare all these animals on the basis of the embryology, and it is the most topic to study. Okay, student. Now we are going to study the comparative embryology. This is unit first, comparative embryology, and previously I has described these six subunits also. And what is embryology? It's very simple term. After the fertilization of the egg or the ovum, the development is going on inside of the embryo. After the formation of the full embryo or the fetus, it is known as the embryology. When you just see these pictures of uh, embryo of fish, tortoise, chick, rabbit, and the man, the initial stages of the embryo they are look identical, but further the embryonic procedure going on, then the structure and the shape of the embryo is changed. Then the female egg gamete, which is also known as the egg or the ovum, we generally know that the eggs or the ovum it is produced by the ovary. This ovary produce the eggs in a large number. Why? Because in a animal world there are the peak prey and predator cycle is going on. So that's why to retain or to maintain the progeny or the our next generation, each and every organism want to lay the large number of the eggs. And that's why when you just see the eggs, they are in a various numbers depends on the organisms. When you just see the ovum or the eggs, their size is also variable. It's of course it is dependable on the organism. Female, when they just lay eggs, they are usually spherical or the oval in a shape. These eggs typically form having a typically the plasma membrane, egg membrane, and the ooplasm. When you just see this uh, picture of the ova or the egg, then you just see here there is a several layers are present. At the center, there is a nucleus present. Inside of this, a nucleolus is present. Just periphery of the nucleus here, the cytoplasm is present. And this cytoplasm is protected by a very the most important membrane. It is a plasma membrane. In some, it is it have another term. It is a vital membrane, and this plasma membrane it is also having a two. Membranes, the primary membrane and the secondary membrane. This primary membrane is a protective layer around the cytoplasm, and the secondary membrane. When you just see the secondary membrane, it is very thick in a size, and it is also variable in uh, its structure and shape, also variable. So, when you just consider the organism, just see the egg of the frog or the amphibians. Uh, this secondary membrane it is in the form of the gel, like then in the shark and some rays it is a leathery in a structure, and in reptiles and birds it is very hard and calcareous shell. Okay, so the secondary membrane of this plasma membrane is very it is nothing but the protective uh, membrane. It is directly exposed to the environment, and uh, in this ova or the egg, this all the say the nucleus, nucleolus, cytoplasm. These all terms having another or the secondary name. This nucleus it is also uh, known as a germinal vesicle, and nucleolus it is known as germinal spot. Cytoplasm it is known as a ooplasm. Okay, so why these terms nucleus is known as a germinal vesicle have, because germ is nothing but the initial or the first step. This cell is converted into or divided, redivided into uh, another cells. This cell division is going on. That's why it is known as the uh, germinal. Means from that portion, the next germination is procedure is going on. So, nucleus is also known as a germinal response. Cytoplasm is known as the nucleus. So, it's a various terms for the these organism, this organism. And then the next is the type of the eggs. Generally, the types of eggs it depends on the amount of yolk and the distribution of yolk. You first see the type of egg based on the amount of yolk. Now, in this, there are three types: microlithical or oligolithical, next one is the mesolithical, and the megalithical. And uh, when you get to see this yolk or the amount of yolk which is present inside of the microlithical egg, then itself indicate that how much or the amount is present inside of this egg. Micro means the very small or very less amount of the yolk is present in this egg. egg. Yes, when we just compare the cytoplasm with the yolk, then cytoplasm amount of the cytoplasm is large than the yolk. Microlithical also known as the alicical or the oligolithical, okay, or the myolithical. Myo means the very little yolk. Okay. And this type of the eggs generally found in the amphibians, marsupials, uterine mammals. Okay, and mammal eggs is also the uh, categorized in this microlithic egg. When you get to see here this picture, the outermost is the corona radiata, and this is the plasma membrane, secondary plasma membrane, first plasma membrane, cytoplasm, and inside of the cytoplasm is a very less amount of the yolk are present. Then the mesolithical. Meso means the moderate amount of the yolk is present inside of the egg. It is also known as the medial lysical, means medium yolk. Okay. It is distinctly unequal distributed inside of the uh, egg. When you get to see the eggs of the shark, the gamma fishes, liver fishes, or the amphibians, such type of the eggs are we find out. You could find out. Then the macrolithical or the polylithical egg. Macro means the enormous amount or the huge amount of yolk present inside of the this eggs, and it is a several times greater than the cytoplasm. Means it is means it actually occupy the large uh, portion of the egg. So, uh, the tailless type of the fishes, Rhinophoriana means lake-like amphibians, reptiles, birds, monotremes. Okay. In these animals, such type of the eggs are present. Then the next type of the eggs based on the distribution of the yolk. Okay, there are also two types: homolysical or the isolysical. The yolk in this egg is uniformly distributed throughout the cytoplasm. When you get to see, this is the cytoplasm. In this cytoplasm, uh, this yolk is evenly distributed or uniformly distributed. Okay, and in the example of this type of the eggs are nothing but the amphibians. Many invertebrates, mammals including we, okay, uh, is the homolysical or the isolysical. Then the next one is the centrolysical. Centrolysical name itself indicates that the where actually the yolk is present. Yolk is concentrated in the interior of the egg. Okay. And the cytoplasm is distributed as a thin layer on the outside of the yolk. means it is actually present at the center of egg, and the cytoplasm is pushed toward the boundary of the egg. Uh, we easily find this type of the yolk in insect and many other arthropods. That the last one is a telolicital. Okay. Telolicital, it is nothing but the yolk is a huge amount of the yolk is present, but means the enormous amount of the yolk is present, and it is concentrated at, at in a one hemisphere of the yolk. Okay, and the cytoplasm and the further nucleus and all these things, it push toward the another hemisphere, is the another pole. Because of it is a evenly distributed yolk, that's why this egg, uh, or the yolk itself, is known as a vegetal pole, and where the nucleus is present, it is known as the animal pole. Yes, when just see inside of this egg, there are the two poles are present. Uh, uh, Vegetal pole, where the yolk is concentrated, and the uh, animal pole, where the nucleus is located. Okay, generally we see such type of the yolk uh, in the uh, in the birds and the reptiles too. Okay, but in the television, further divided into the slightly telolicical and moderately telolicical and the pronounced telolicical. Okay, so this slightly telolicical, it is present in some fishes, just like the zebra fishes. So here, when you get to see, this yolk is present at the one hemisphere, and cytoplasm it is pushed toward the another hemisphere. But uh, the amount of the yolk is very small, and the moderate amount of the yolk is present, but it is occupied the half of this egg cavity actually, and the next one is the pronounced televisical. Yolk is present at the one hemisphere or the pole, no doubt, but uh, the nucleus is present at the another pole, and this is known as the animal pole. And the next, this eggs also divided into a mosaic or regulative eggs, and next one is a regulative or the indeterminate egg. Mosaic means the every part which will be developed in the future of the embryo, these parts, they are actually predetermined. Means uh, at the time of the fertilization, before the time of fertilization, each and every part of the eggs have its uh, uh, predetermined origin of organism. Sorry, organs. So if suppose we just remove a very small portion of the part of that fertilized egg, then in the future, when the embryo is developed, and there are some related organs does not uh, present within that developed embryo. So every part of that fertilized egg is predetermined, means decided which type of the organ uh, will be developed from that particular part or the cell. We just say that the cells. Okay, such egg is called the mosaic or the determinate egg. Generally this is found inside of the annelids, monosaccharides, and acetates. And then the next regulative or the indeterminate eggs. Its eggs is nothing but the development potentially for the different organ of the future embryo are not predetermined. Okay, means suppose you just by accidentally any part of that fertilized eggs by accidentally damaged, The other cells those are present around that damaged part, they recover that portion of that part, and the full complete embryo will be developed. So this is actually the two very interesting type of the eggs. First is mosaic, and this is the second one is a regulative, means the determinate and indeterminate eggs. Again, uh, in broad way, we divided these eggs into two categories, means shell or the non-shell. Means the shells, those having a calcareous, firm, very tough type of the cover or the outer covering is present or the outer envelope is present. Those belonging to the shelled eggs, and the other having suppose the eggs of the amphibians or the mammals, that does not have a shell type of the envelope or the very tough uh, envelope or the secondary plasma membrane. So it is belonging to the non-shell. Okay, so the animal which lay the eggs outside of the body, then definitely uh, it having a very critical situation, because they are directly exposed toward the outer environment. Suppose directly exposed to the outer environment means they facing toward the weather. So the inside, the embryo which is growing on, the growth is or a developing embryo is present. So if, for the protection of that embryo, the shell or the calcareous shell is present. Okay, so such type of the eggs having another one, and it is known as a cladoid eggs, and generally found this type of the eggs in the reptiles and the birds. The animals which exhibit the internal development of the embryo lay their eggs without the shells, such as the eggs referred to as non-cladoid eggs, because all the fertilization procedure is completed within the ovum uterus of the mother. That's why the fully grown or the matured embryo or the fetus, it just came out uh, of the body. That's why it did not require any tough optical calcareous material to surround on the on its envelope. So this is the two type, shell, non-shell or cladoid